here with my guest, Jenny Maria, and I was just catching up with Jenny Maria backstage, having a wonderful talk, and I had the opportunity to thank you, but I want to thank you again. I want to reiterate a little bit what we talked about. The big welcoming
You see
yes.
that right there? That's Machu Picchu. It's one of the...
Sorry. The big welcoming yes that you gave me when I asked you almost instantly. And then it was, how about tomorrow at 1 o'clock? And again, it just struck me when we really do embrace this moment, going to immediately to the title of this particular live stream, this holy instant I will give you. We're given the answer that we need, right?
Yeah. I'm so happy to be here, and it's exactly what happened, because when I received your invitation, I just felt this warmth. It just felt really good to join with you, and then I asked Spirit for guidance on the timing, because you asked, okay, when can we do this? And I heard Friday.
I think we start out just for a second. Jenny, can you hear me? We timed out for a second.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what happened.
Well, we'll figure it out as we go.
Yeah, we are out in the countryside, and sometimes the internet goes out.
Right.
So
So we were talking about saying yes. And
yeah, so I just prayed for guidance, and I heard go on Friday, so just Friday, and I looked in the calendar and I thought, oh, that's already tomorrow. And I thought, okay, I trust Spirit. And
trust Spirit. Perfect.
Yeah.
So how important that is to you through your everyday life, trusting Spirit?
Oh, it's everything. It's extremely important. It's what I want all the time. And if I forget, as soon as I remember again, I ask for guidance with pretty much everything.
If you think about your early days with the Course, does it surprise you now that you're able to turn so often to the Holy Spirit and really get the guidance that you need? Because it seems so far away for me back in the day.
Yeah. In the early days, wow, I was shocked when I realized that I need to ask for guidance in everything. Actually, I received an astrology reading, and the reader told me, you need to join with God in everything you do. I can see it in your chart. Otherwise, you will fail in everything. And I thought, I was a bit shocked, that it was in the astrology chart. But I realized that means I need to follow guidance in what I say, what I do, what I think, in basically everything. And it was shocking. I thought, this is too extreme. I have no idea how to do that. How do I listen to God at all times? So it went from, practicing the Course in the early lessons. You have to do the lessons like 1 minute a day or 2 minutes a day, to every minute, every moment. And that took many years of practice.
Right. So when were those early days? How long have you been practicing the Course? And
20 years. So it was in 2005 I got the Course.
We have a question already from our friend Ellie. She says, did you ever think that you would have learned so much about the Course?
Probably not. Probably did not think that in the beginning, no.
Sometimes I find that there are people who sort of, they find the Course out of need. They've exhausted every other possible option. Life is a mess. And the Course finds them. And then others, not so much through the path of suffering, but maybe we can just call it the grace of a former lifetime where they come across it and they're just ready for it this time around. How about you? What's the origin story for Jenny Maria?
For me, I would say there was big part of it was suffering. It was longing. It was mixed, it was, yeah, I did feel like life here on planet Earth is quite painful. And I had a deep longing for God, just so deep longing for something greater. It was as if I knew there was something greater, but I wasn't sure how to find it. I felt like I was in a maze of trying to figure out this life, and this the biggest part is this responsibility that we take for our future. So for me, I got the course when I was about 29 years old, and there was a time when, actually even earlier than that, this, feeling, what do I do with my life? How can I sustain myself, the future, money, the salary, all this. And so, yeah. So I think, yeah, for me, it came in as, just a big answer, but also this big longing for clarity, for something deeper than thinking about myself and my future. Yeah.
Me as well. And especially the experience of God, not just learning, not just, um, if the course was just a book, uh, it would be a great book, but it wouldn't be a life. It wouldn't be a way of life.
Mm.
It's the fact that it really gives you the experience of God in a very intimate way.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes so deep. It goes into the unconscious mind and changes it for us. That's what I feel about it. It's like it's mystical.
And it's not quite as difficult as we might imagine. I mean, it takes effort, it takes work,
Mhm.
but maybe I should say it takes commitment.
Yeah, it
But
takes a lot of
as you,
willingness.
a lot of
Really.
willingness, it does.
Yeah.
But the more that we're willing to say, I'm tired of making a mess of things. It's such a great relinquishment to literally turn to the Holy Spirit and say, okay, my way didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, it's what we need. This total reliance on a higher wisdom because our way didn't work. And it's really no other way out. It's like we are in the dead end, finding out, okay, we need higher wisdom
Right.
to manage and to get to an experience that is, that is worth it. This in this world, the experiences are not enough.
At what point was it for you when you were able to let out this big sigh of relief and think, okay, now I know for sure that my way doesn't work. Um, and I'm so thankful that I do have this guidance system.
I think it was pretty early on with the course. Even though in the very early days, I prayed a lot for my mighty companions to show up. So I think it was gradual when this sigh of relief came, but it definitely came, when I first received the course because of all the answers I got.
Right.
But yeah, it took a few years to feel the full trust and to feel that I was guided to experience that.
Can you tell us a little bit about your mighty companions?
Sure, yeah. It was like I had the course for almost a year, or say 8 months, and I studied it by myself. And then one day I thought I need to find out if there are others who have this masterpiece, who know about this, because I felt like I was on my own, and I thought this is wisdom and there must be others. So I look online, and the first one that showed up was David Hoffmeister.
Ah.
And he I was in Sweden, and I typed it in Swedish, Course in Miracles in Swedish, but there was no Swedish person coming up. It was him, and it said he's coming to Sweden, and a month later after this. So and I felt a very strong calling to go see him. So I did. And that was life-changing. It was profound. And then after that, I went home and I quit everything. I was in the psychology program in the university. I was going to become a psychologist, and I just had to quit. I couldn't do it anymore. But then it started this deep, deep time of meditation, longing, asking for my mighty companions to appear in my life. Of course, I had already met David, and he definitely felt mighty, and but it took a while until the guidance came in to actually move away from Sweden and go to America, and then it took a couple of months, and then I found them, with David, and the group was with David.
Do you consider David like one of your top teachers that have helped guide you through the course?
Oh yeah, the only one. Yeah,
Only one?
yeah. I didn't
You know,
need anyone else.
I had an interesting experience with David. He was one of the first guests that I had come up, and I sent him a message, not fully expecting to hear back from him. But I have a friend in the live stream here, and her and I do Miracle Mondays, where we talk every Monday. We talk about A Course in Miracles.
Mhm.
And one Monday, she told me that she was going to be unable to make it. She had family visiting, and within, I'm going to say within a couple of hours, I got a message from David saying, "I'd love to come up. How about Monday at 1 o'clock?" Which is the exact time that I would have. And it was so perfect. It was it I was unsure about asking, guests to come up and talk about the course. We talk about meditation and yoga. Uh, and then David just confirmed that, okay, I, I'm on the right path.
Mm. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, he's very tuned in. He's so tuned in. He's so willing to listen to spirit.
And it was an amazing live stream with him.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I don't
It
doubt
is a
it.
good example of,
Mhm.
I think, where we would like to go, to be able to listen to be that committed to listening
Yeah, yeah,
at every moment.
yeah. It is like that. Not my will, but thy will be done. To keep having that prayer, and yeah, he certainly personifies that. Yeah.
So could we talk about that subject that that you suggested, this holy instant I would give you, um, which again is the last 5 lessons from 361 to 365. Um, and as we were saying, it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place to end up,
It
but it's
is.
also a great place um, if no one's ever done the course, um, even if they're not interested, to know that this is the possibility of where we could be.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because the course is quite wordy. It has a lot of words, especially the early lessons and the mid lessons. It's a lot of words, and goes very deep. And here towards the end, the need for words is almost over. And the holy instant that I would experience and give to you, God, such a powerful state of mind and such a powerful prayer and desire. Yeah.
Um, we had uh, David Dove Fishman, on I guess maybe a month or so ago, and he had mentioned that he's been practicing the course for almost 50 years, and that maybe about 20 years or so ago, he picked up to do the lessons again, and he was given um, a direct um, message saying that it's time to put the lessons aside and just simply be open and willing to reach that point where they say at the end of these lessons, um, now you'll receive everything you need.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I don't, I, it's been about 30 years for me with the course. and I feel on that verge. I feel on that point where I'm ready
Mhm.
to step in, and I don't even fully know what that means, other than um, as you were saying, having that willingness that
Yeah.
I'll be guided what that next step might be.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I find that Spirit wants me to teach the course, and it comes alive very much when I read to others or when I share with others. That's really how I feel like it teaches my mind and the mind the truth. So I don't read it a lot by myself anymore either, but to share with others. Yeah, that's how it comes through a lot for me.
Right. So you for you it really is. I brought that lesson up, and I'll read it real quick, and then if you want to offer some commentary. Um, so this is lesson. This is the end. For those who might not realize that Course in Miracles is mind training. 365 lessons. Um, Before we start, how important is the mind training?
Oh, it's extremely important. It's everything. And it's, the word mind training sounds maybe a bit rough, but I like the meaning of it because it means to learn to think with God. That's
Right.
what mind training is. And who wouldn't want that?
True. And if we think about it, um, our mind had already been trained by our parents, by school, by media, by the books that we've read, and it was trained to think of life as we're separate, that we're an ego, that we need to get ours before someone else gets it, that competition is the way that we go. So we've already received mind training,
Yeah, the wrong training. Yeah.
the wrong training,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But we don't even realize it until we're given an opportunity to see differently.
Yeah, yeah, and it's profound because this was what the course talks about. You taught the world to teach you what you are. So yeah, it seems like we're victims to what we received in our childhood and all the wrong teaching we got, but actually it's our own mind projecting it, giving it back to us. What we wanted, which is everything was all about not experiencing the truth. That's what this world is. So yeah, so untrain or unlearning that training that's what spiritual awakening is about.
I think that's why those first 50 lessons are so harrowing,
Yeah,
because it pulls the rug completely out from under us.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, when you first started the course, so for me, um, it was start and stop for a very long time. Uh, and a lot of people have asked, do you think it's because you weren't ready or you didn't understand? And I think it was the opposite. I think I understood all too well what was going to happen. And my ego said, nope.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's common. Yeah. But for me, actually, I was too needy for God, I think. So I didn't really stop. I was very grateful for the message because it straightened out all the question marks I had in my mind from Christianity. I was actually a Baptist. I was born into a family that was Baptist church, like evangelical Christians, which is like, yeah, maybe minority in Sweden. It's not, super common, but yeah, that's how I grew up. So it was a lot around sin and guilt and being bad and even believing in hell and all this. So when I started reading the course, it was like, oh yes, this makes sense. This, clarifies everything that felt so wrong in Christianity.
How did your family respond to your? Uh,
Not too well. Not too well in the beginning. They thought I joined a sect and they thought the course was from the devil, and yeah, they didn't understand it. But there came a point when my mother said to me, you live the right way. She said, you live like Jesus and the apostles, and that's more than we can say about us. He said, and I thought,
It's an amazing turnaround, isn't it?
yeah, very beautiful. Yeah.
And it is. I mean, that's truly how it is. That I've heard similar because I was Catholic. I was raised Catholic. I went to a Catholic school, and I wrote a book, 2000. Does God have a hero? And my mom, who taught at the Catholic school that I went to, brought it in and said, "Oh, we can have it in the library." And they read it and said, "Nope, it is not. It is decidedly not Catholic." But it really was talking about our relationship with God. And I mean, how much more could we ask for in a faith than having an actual relationship?
Yeah, it's funny how it's rejected by religion, by
Right.
Christianity, Catholicism. Yeah, because that's what they seem to be about. They seem to be about God, but it's confused.
And I think it's because it brings us directly to the source, so we don't need that in between. We don't necessarily have to go to a priest or a minister or whatever. We can have that direct. The course calls the revelation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so let me read lesson 361, and this goes from 361 to 365. And then whatever you want to add when we're done. This holy instant I would give to you. Be you in charge, for I would follow you. Certain your direction gives me peace. And then this part I think is some of the most beautiful words in all of the course coming up. And if I need a word to help me, he will give it to me. If I need a thought, that he will also give. And if I need but stillness and a tranquil, open mind, these are the gifts I will receive of him. He is in charge by my request, and he will hear and answer me because he speaks for God, my Father, and his Holy Son.
Yes. Yeah. What is there to say, after that? This is it. This is our prayer. So profound. Such an invitation to be still and know. Yeah.
I love that. I love that word.
Yeah, me too.
And really, is there anything else we need to ask for?
Not really. I mean, I think it's such a practical journey of undoing. Like we when we are this far on the journey, we are ready for some stillness and for the experience of the holy instant, which is something Jesus encourages us to practice. Like practice the holy instant is one of the sections in the course. So yeah, but getting there is a lot of practical steps of actually seeking the obstacles to love, the obstacles to that peace. And that's what the ego resists, to look at our own mind, look at our own ego, to release it, because this is what fear has done to us. We cling to it, the self-concept, the personal identity, which is what is getting undone through studying the course. It actually is getting undone, less and less important, this self-concept. But it takes quite some willingness and quite some looking at darkness and seeking out the obstacles to love.
Which are many.
Yes, everything in this world.
And they're all made up.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a hard concept for a lot of people it's a hard reality, I should say, for a lot of people to arrive to, that this is all made up. Every obstacle to love is completely made up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think this is where we need each other. This is where we need mighty companions and helpers and friends, because yeah, so we live together as a group, actually practicing the course every day. And this morning, one person in the group was feeling a bit stuck and going through some fear. And it felt really important to support her and to let her, kind of feel like she doesn't want this, but she felt like trapped in the body. She felt like, I feel like I'm trapped in this body, and it's not enough, but I don't know how to get out of it. That was the feeling, and
Right.
there was fear in that. So just being open about it, being open about the thoughts and joining and talking it through, it kind of fell away. So yeah, I think joining with others is one of the ways that we're healing.
Sometimes our mighty companions might not be what we expect or even think that we want. They might be the ones that um, they might be our triggers. They might appear to be an obstacle, but they're there to teach us some of the most important lessons of all.
Yeah, and I think the word or the concept mighty companions are, yes, they can be triggers, but they are also way showers. They are the ones who have gone before us. And then there can be, I think the world is, full of triggers until we forgive it, with maybe seemingly less wise beings. So yeah, I think the mighty companions is a different category.
Right. Have you had experiences with mighty companions who might not be visible to our regular eyes, our regular vision?
Yes, I have. Yes, I get goosebumps because yes, it's something very powerful.
The look on your face was a very profound experience that I can imagine.
Yeah.
Um, did that come as well, we have a question that's going to be on this topic. Um, our friend Miss Flipper, she's the one that I do the Miracle Mondays with, says, what does Jenny Maria think about angels?
Okay. Yeah. Well, so I was visited by two angels, or I don't really. Actually, they were maybe not angels. They were light beings or Christ beings. They were the true selves of two people from my family, two people that I grew up with, and this was when I was going to leave Sweden and go to America. I had a huge wave of doubt come up. I felt like I cannot do this. I actually had a child, and I felt like this would be too much to leave him behind and let someone else take care of him. So I felt like this is something I cannot do, even though I felt God's calling. So I just refused, or I felt like this is impossible. And that's when my whole being was a prayer, and I sat for hours, didn't know what to do. And after sitting for many hours, there was this presence that appeared, and this light that was not from this world. And two huge light beings were in my room, and they didn't have wings. They were not like angels. They were just higher beings, and they were my parents in their higher selves. It was like true perception. Jesus talks about true perception. I don't know if that's what it was, but it was definitely the Christ, and they communicated with me and they encouraged me to go on my journey, which was amazing, and I needed that confirmed. So yeah. Um, so I definitely believe in angels, light beings, higher beings, Christ beings that help us, whatever we're open to. And I think this was something I was open to, and I needed this.
Um, has that type of communication continued through the years?
Yeah, there have been direct experience. So that was the biggest experience. This was in 2006. And then they have appeared a couple more times to me and given me messages. And the experience was that they're never absent.
Right.
But my limited perception makes me believe that I'm alone most of the time in this world. That was very clear and obvious that it was like more like it is a dream, and it's based on unhealed trauma, unhealed perception. So the experience was reality is, and there is nothing else. But there seems to be a dream where the little me is a bit lost and needs to find itself. I need to purify my perception. I need to heal my mind. I'm not here for any other purpose than healing my mind, clearing my perception so that I can see the Christ at all times, which is, it's the undoing of time, basically. So
It's a very important thing that you mentioned, that you're here to heal your mind. We're not here to get busy in other people's lives.
no.
But a lot of people get confused about that. A lot of people ask, what should I do about this person, this event, this situation, this leader, or whatever? And the course literally says nothing.
Yeah, go within.
Right.
Forgive them your misperception. Yeah.
So how come we're not getting busy in the world? How come we're not, and not that it precludes, if we get actual guidance that, um, you know, go and do this, we could go and do this, but as you said, it's all about our own mind, because there's nothing outside of. It's not even our mind; it's mind.
Yes, yes, and it was just so obvious to me when I had this visit from these light beings, just because there was no likeness between the persons I knew and the Christ selves I met. There was no. It's exactly what Jesus says in the course. There is no resemblance between your perception of people. Like he says, you people the world with your thoughts, and these thoughts are very limited. They are false, but that's why we see people. That's why we see a world. It's because we misuse the power of God to perceive a world because we're so fearful of God. So the perception of my parents had no likeness of the perception of these light beings, although it was them in their essence.
Right.
So that's how I realized I need to heal my perception. I need to heal my own mind. It was very practical to have that experience.
I absolutely love what you just says. We people the world with our thoughts. That changes everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
If we knew that, it changes everything.
Yeah. We can start to take responsibility for our minds. Not that we have to feel bad about it, but we can start to heal. It does change everything. We can take full responsibility for perception and heal it. And it changes accordingly. We're not victims anymore. So I think that's just one of the biggest traps, is this belief in victimhood that we get into.
It's another important. You're dropping these things one after the other that I keep wanting to touch upon, because that's another huge thing that you just said. We don't need to feel bad for the condition of the world. We don't need to feel bad about anything, do we? We're not asked to feel bad.
No, we're asked to feel very, very good. And if we feel bad, we have a misunderstanding of who we are. Yeah, the world is not the problem. It's actually fear-based focus when we get preoccupied with how bad the condition of the world is, and we want to change it and fix it and help it. It's so much fear to look at our own mind and to go within and to seek God that we get preoccupied and we get lost in it's false empathy. And yeah, the course is excellent in helping us coming back and releasing these false interests.
Do you find that as you work on changing your mind, that your perception of the world begins to change, that your experience of the world as well?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I feel like it gets so much lighter and easier, less serious. It's hard to describe, more ethereal somehow. And things show up on time and kind of, yeah, more and more miracles.
I also find that, and I love the prayer, I'm here only to be truly helpful.
Yeah.
I find that I become truly helpful, not by
Yeah.
going out and saying, let me do this for you and that for you and whatever, but by doing exactly what you said, returning within, changing my mind. Then I truly become helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's immediate. Like I love it because spirit is responding. I mean, the response is immediate to our willingness. When we offer our willingness to be truly helpful, to change our mind, to forgive, to heal, yes, the answer is there when we truly ask. And that's very powerful and beautiful.
I love that you said immediate.
Yeah.
Because that's my answer to why should we forgive. The answer to forgiveness is forgiving. There's
Yeah.
I could offer a long explanation, but when you forgive, you'll know.
Yeah. And you feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have another question. How does Jen and Maria emphasize with greatness?
How do I
Uh,
empathize?
empathize.
Emphasize.
Yes.
What do I think about greatness? Well,
Yes, I think Miss Bipper is going with the our littleness.
littleness versus magnitude is one of the
Yes.
sections. Yeah. Yeah. Greatness. Yeah. Our mind is greatness. As a person, that the person is the belief in littleness. The person is the separate identity, but greatness is our true identity. Magnitude is our true identity. And that's what's easy. That's what is magnificent. It's shining. It's simple. It's there when all the other layers are gone.
Jenny, how was it for you to see your parents, your everyday mom, dad, and the shining light of who they truly were?
Oh, it was amazing. It was just wonderful. It was so this was so good, and it was so helpful because I realized I need to work on my mind. I need to do my mind training. I need to heal. I need to forgive everything. I need to forgive my perception of them because, like I said, there was no likeness. I need to forgive them, and I worked on that ever since. I worked on the forgiveness of my parents, my father, and things I experienced as a child, and and there were times when I was bitter, angry, and had very difficult feelings, and praying to God, help me. Ca- Even I asked God, can you show me what a bastard my father is? Can you show me what actually was going on? And spirit showed me the light. It was just amazing, and I realized, yeah, God will never show anything but light about someone
And
else.
if we could truly forgive, we would see everyone like that, wouldn't we?
Yes, yes, and we would undo time. We wouldn't stay here very long.
That's absolutely beautiful. It might be one of the most beautiful things that I feel like I've received. I, I often think that, and I mention this quite often, I often think that I'm bringing up guests for people who show up in the live stream. And then it becomes very evident that I'm bringing them up because they have something to say to me.
Mm,
And I
beautiful.
didn't know it until
Mm.
they said it. And you just said it.
Mm, thank you.
And that always, it bursts my heart wide open when that
Mm,
happens. Thank you.
mm,
Thank you so much. And tears in my eyes right now.
mm,
Um,
mm.
and that's forgiveness, isn't it? That's, can you talk the nature of forgiveness? Because I think that's one of the most misunderstood, two of the most misunderstood aspects of the course is that the world is a dream,
Yeah.
and that forgiveness is something we do.
Yeah, yeah. Forgive your brother for what they did not do. This is like, this is very deep. How do I forgive someone for what they did not do when I believe they did it, when I experienced they did it, when I felt hurt by it? How do I forgive that? And actually, only Spirit can do it. We can only offer our willingness. And this is what I've been really working on. I realize I have to take 100% responsibility for my perception. I cannot put it elsewhere. And I think, yeah, this is where I don't say that I'm finished, because I think there is, it's so mystical. It's not like every moment is that I'm back in God. It is okay. Forgive perception, lift it up. Just be willing to let Spirit show you what reality is. Which for me, it's actually more abstract. It's to not put so much weight on the perceptual world, but to stay in the mind, to stay back in the mind. That's what it feels like. And with the forgiveness, yeah. So if we take my father as an example, he passed away almost a year ago now. I think it was early January after New Year's or something, or maybe it was just at this time. I can't remember, but yeah, I forgave him, and I just saw the light. Like I was saying, I tried to make God show me something else, something difficult and dark, but God would just show me the light. Say, this is your father. And I loved it. I loved that light. This is what I am too. That was my experience.
So
So yeah,
God can't really show us otherwise, can he?
no, no, Spirit can only show us the truth. And it was very beautiful that I was shown that. But through the years, I worked through a lot of limitation and seeing a lot of limiting beliefs that developed in my childhood or maybe in past lives. And this, I think, is the constant practice. This is what the mind training is, to allow ourselves to be in touch with our emotions and to see where we judge something, where we are afraid, because it's just actually fear of God that is projected, as the world is manifesting the world. So we can use everything we perceive and forgive it and come back to peace.
I love a line I recently heard quoting Kenneth Wapnick that a good course student is a bad course student who forgives himself.
That sounds good.
And I don't want people to think that you and I are talking about that we're always going around in this state of um, uh, doom and gloom. That this is really a joyful practice.
Yeah, I love the practice, because what is the alternative? There's
Right.
there's no choice.
I had the alternative for a very long time. I had a decade of, little over a decade of self-destructive drinking,
Hmm.
and the course came into my life, uh, and I still drank for a very long time. several years after. But the course had planted a seed, and it began to work.
Mhm.
And when the time came to quit drinking, it came in an instant,
Mhm.
and I was done. There was no struggle. There was just that clear vision that, okay, now that part of my life is done. Let
That's
me open up
beautiful.
to the mystery of whatever's going to come next.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
we have another question if I can find it. I think I might have lost it though. Ellie, could you ask that question again, please? I'm sorry that I lost it. Oh, what's inspired you towards the spirit? What has inspired you towards spirit?
Well, I don't, like you were saying in the beginning, was it misery or not that drew you to spirit? And I think it was more the suffering. But yeah, the inspiration comes because of the rewards. The rewards I receive when I listen and trust and follow. In the beginning, it was scary to follow guidance because it was like, the ego had an investment and was like, oh, what if they don't like me if I say what I feel guided to say? But then more and more and more, I received the rewards of following, which was always lightness and joy. And yeah, so that is what has inspired me, following the guidance. Yeah.
You've made this your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He did.
What
Spirit did.
spirit did? Was there a point? I'm thinking in terms of the manual for teachers and the characteristics of God's teachers. The first one, trust. When you got to that point where you knew Spirit is asking me to make this my life, did you have that level of trust that you stepped right into it, or was there some trepidation?
Yeah, it was trepidation. I mean, this was that time in 2006 when I received the calling to go to America. Initially, I didn't really know why. Yeah, initially it looked like I was going to go to a TM course in Fairfield, Iowa, at Maharishi University, and there was a very strong guidance and feeling of inspiration that I should do that. But there was this huge feeling of sacrifice. I'm going to have to sacrifice being a mother. My son was 10 years old, and I felt like this is impossible. This is something I cannot do. And that's when the angel beings appeared, and that's when I took this step. So yeah.
God doesn't really ask us to sacrifice, though, does he?
Exactly, but we believe in sacrifice. This is a huge teaching, So I was like, what's going on here? I have to, because he says that exactly this in the manual for teachers in the development of trust. It says the teacher of God will feel called upon to sacrifice his own best interests on behalf of truth. And he doesn't realize how impossible that is, he says. And he can only learn it by actually giving up the valueless. And the valueless must be something in the world of form, because it's not real. So we are attached to something, and it can be something that feels very strong for us, a child, a parent, a pet. And I have seen it, that's what happens a lot of times. We are attached to something, but we're called to give it up because we are ready to look further. We are ready to know more about who we are. So for me, yeah, it was a child, and not until I had given up the mother role, faced all the guilt, then I got the experience. I didn't give up anything. The connection with my son is beautiful and pure and here and present in the now. But it took a lot of facing of guilt and releasing the belief in sacrifice. Yeah.
I'm a little bit in that place of trepidation myself, um, where I'm going to be doing YouTube and this channel and these talks, and then putting out content from our talks full time. And I feel like I am stepping into what I should be doing. And then there is that voice that surprises me that it's still as loud as it is, saying, you can't do that. That, you're uh, 60 years old, where's the security? And, how many full time 60-year-old YouTubers are on there literally doing this? And of course, the answer is it only takes one.
Yeah,
It only takes one 60-year-old full-time YouTuber to do this, and
yeah, it takes you.
may as well be me.
Yeah, it takes you saying yes. Yeah, that's beautiful.
But there's still some fear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because if you have future thoughts. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you practice TM?
Yes, I did. I did for about 10 years before I started the Course in Miracles mainly, and a little bit after.
Did you find that there was did it blend seamlessly with each other?
It was helpful. It was just helpful for me to help me still my mind. And then, when I went to this course in Fairfield, they brought in 2,000 men and 2,000 women to be in those golden domes and meditate for 8 hours a day for a year. And I started in that project, and I had a very deep and profound experience from the TM the sutras, and I went super deep with it. But Spirit told me this is not about TM. This is about your connection with me. So move on. Don't stay in this Fairfield Maharishi University. Move on. Trust me. And so yeah. What was your question? If it's supported, TM.
Right.
So yeah, it was like a trampoline to jump off from, but it wasn't. It's not something that has stayed.
Right. I'm a primordial sound meditation teacher, which is from Deepak Chopra, who was with Maharshi for a long period of time before they broke apart. So it's a very similar practice.
Oh, beautiful. Mm-hmm.
And we have Mark Landau coming up next week, who was in the inner circle with Maharshi for a very long time. He stepped away too. He had a little revelation like you had, where it was time to walk away, and he wrote a beautiful book on forgiveness. He'll be up, I think, on next Wednesday to have a conversation.
Lovely.
So, what does forgiveness look like for you? What is the practice of forgiveness for those who might be confused? How do I do it?
So yeah, I think it's to acknowledge if there's any harsh feeling, any anger, any attack thoughts, any block. So to just kind of acknowledge it, and say, I don't want this. To deeply, deeply realize this is not how I want to feel. I don't want to believe this. And then just to invite the spirit, invite the light in to that part of us that is holding on to something, and just sit with it. And it shifts it. Yeah.
I've always liked the fact that it lets me, the little me, off the hook. Because forgiveness can seem monumental.
Yeah.
We want to be a victim.
Yeah. that's it. And it comes through. It has many layers, this victim belief. So we need to be onto it. That's what mind training is about, to actually see and admit it, admit what's going on in our minds. Because it's just silly child play, this defensiveness, wanting to be right about something, yeah, it doesn't help
Certainly
us.
gets us in a lot of trouble, doesn't it? Wanting to be right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
We like that, but you did this.
Mhm.
And we hold
Yeah.
on to that forever.
Mhm.
Do you find that forgiveness is a one and done deal, or is it? You mentioned levels and layers.
Yeah, I find it's a sort of a process, because it seems, for me at least, I think for everyone, we find pockets in our consciousness where we have something unforgiven. We discover it again and again. So yeah, I have experience of, I was raped as a child, and that has been like layers and a deep process to work with, and to find, to find the way to heal from that. So it's an interesting journey.
The process isn't bad when you consider the alternative.
Right. No, it's the only way is to go through it. Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times that we demand that instant gratification. That, well, okay, I forgave you. Now be different.
Yeah.
I forgive you. Now get your life in order. Or I forgive you. Where's my miracle?
Mhm.
And those levels of guilt, those levels of shame, those levels of those layers, it takes some unpacking.
It does. It does. And it can also be immediate experiences. I've had those experiences of saying, well, I'm willing to perceive this differently. And I have an immediate reflection of loving joy from someone. And it's amazing. So it's both a process and it is an instant. So it's hard to describe it.
Right. Forgiveness is the thing that,
It's
you know, forgiveness is awakening.
yeah. Yeah.
And um, trying to think of the best way to say this. In Zen, they talk about satori, that instant awakening. And forgiveness gives us that instant awakening. We might seem to fall asleep again, but then we can always keep forgiving. And that's the whole essence of life. And I always mention to people uh, that at the end of my life, if someone said, everything you believed about in the Course in Miracles is wrong, and we have scientific evidence to prove it, my answer would be, that's okay. Because forgiveness gave me a life of infinite joy and wonder and love and kindness. Um, that's enough.
Yeah, 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 and it is just what the words point to in the course that means anything. The words in themselves are nothing, but yeah. So even this, what he shares, and you may experience that you lifted up into the light. Uh, when you accept, when you forgive, you can have an experience of being lifted up into the light, and then when you come back to your perceptual world again, you will never see the world the same again. So big chunks of persona or of the past of unforgiveness fall away, and that's how it goes. I think it is like, yeah, peeling the onion, or that's what forgiveness is.
Really important that we do see that. And a lot of people ask, how do you know that the world is a dream? And if you practice forgiveness, you literally see through the dream.
Yeah, you will see more and more it's a dream, because you will see that your perception changes, your reflections change. Yeah.
That's pretty that it brings to mind lesson 122. Forgiveness offers everything I want. And a lot of times we get caught up in the beauty of the dream because it can be a very beautiful dream
Yeah,
at
yeah. I mean,
times.
they have to dream. It gets more and more easy. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But the more we forgive and the more that we're able to see through it, the more that we really do, we just want that light.
yeah. And anything we perceive as beautiful is of spirit. It's not a block. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Um, I just read Gary Renard actually before we went live. Um, he had mentioned about he had spent 2 weeks in Hawaii, um, and how he had seen the beauty of the sunset and the beaches, and it made him a little sad that this is all a dream. But then he was reminded that all of the beauty that he sees takes place in his mind. It's a representative of who he really is. It's his beauty being reflected outwards instead of being projected. It's reflected.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and so, really, knowing that the world is a dream doesn't diminish the beauty.
No, it increases it. Everything becomes beautiful and light. Yeah. Yeah, but actually part of my mind training was to not get caught in the beauty of the world of form. I felt I was asked by spirit to not look at sunsets or a beautiful vista for a period, to help me stay with spirit within. This helped me actually to remove myself from feeling gratification from an external believed external world. So it was a helpful step to not judge anything as beautiful or ugly, to just stay with spirit. But that was a phase, and then I started feeling more and more and more confident in spirit. So yeah, so now I'm not so serious about that. I just feel spirit within, and yeah, I see a
Reminds
lot
me
of.
of a song by Donovan. Uh, First there's a mountain, then no mountain, then there is. Um, so first you see the regular world, the solidness, uh, the materialism, the materialist, um, and then you have that awakening, and you see that it's all just a dream. And then you see that once again, a mountain is a mountain. That yes, it's a dream. Yes, it's illusory, but it can still be quite beautiful within the dream.
Yeah, I often have experiences of like impeccable beauty. Like I see something and it looks perfect to me. So I think that's how it goes when it's the forgiven world. It becomes full of beauty. Like Jesus says that too. Can you imagine how beautiful those who you forgive will look to you? Never have you seen such beauty in this world. So yeah.
The great Christian mystic Thomas Burton said something similar, that if we could truly see ourselves as who we were, that he supposed our biggest problem would be that we would be falling to our knees in worship of each other.
Yeah.
We have another question. Um, did you use any other tools for healing, perhaps somatic exercises?
Yeah, I have done somatic experiencing therapy to help me with my trauma and yeah, things that made me in the past feel paralyzed or frozen. The somatic therapy was very helpful for that.
Um, let's see. Sarah says that forgiveness, this is a statement, that forgiveness helps you see through the dream at once. It is so deep and profound.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful.
Um, just looking for a few questions. our friend Sherry says the guest speaker's smile is so bright.
Thank you.
So can you tell us, just shifting a little bit, what you're doing right now? Because you have a website, you offer some services. Can you let people know how they can? I have your information in the description, but if you can just tell us a bit about what you're doing.
Yeah, so me and my partner, we run 2 retreat centers, one in Málaga, Spain, and one in Cape Town, South Africa. And these have come about through guidance, both those centers. And we have a small group of people living with us in both centers who have committed their lives, their minds, to A Course in Miracles healing path. And then we run retreats, and we have weekly satsangs, twice a week actually, that are open for anyone who wants to join. We have them on Wednesday evenings, Europe time at 7:30, and Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Europe time. So that's a very quick, brief description of what I do. But so I work very closely with small groups of people who want to wake up from the dream. So very, very deep relationships of trust for healing.
Because you come from a TM background, you're probably familiar with the Maharishi effect.
Yeah, that's why I went to Fairfield.
Um, the the fact that you're doing what you're doing fills me with much hope that there is a small group of committed people who are just practicing forgiveness and love, and that's that's what's going to be that's what's going to save the world.
Yeah, I mean, the healing of our mind saves the world. It changes everything. So we can actually take that credit. When I heal, I'm not healed alone. That's one of the lessons. Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. There's just, when we talked about this at the beginning, there's just one mind.
Yes. There is just one mind. That's the very mystical truth that can be very hard to grasp. Yeah.
We have another, before I ask the next question, Cat and Jack says, yes, 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 let me go. Holy Spirit, let me go. She's ready to book a flight
Oh,
and head out to Spain.
sweet. We have room. Come on over. That's beautiful.
So the question is, how could the mind, which is part of God, dream or imagine the idea of separation in the first place? And how could perfection conceive of imperfection, even if it were merely an illusion?
It couldn't. So this is, that's what illusion means. It never happened. It's a dream. But this is the number one question from the ego. The ego can never grasp the answer. How could the impossible happen? But so Jesus says it's actually not helpful to get lost in the question. The better to focus on is to see that you believe that it happened because you don't feel great. So come back to what you believe. He says, look at, he says, this did not happen, but you can say from your experience that you believe it happened. And that's what we must work with. He's even saying that we have much to do. We've been long delayed. This whole world, this history is a huge delay from being at home in God. So yeah, don't get lost in that question. How could the impossible happen? But look at your mind and see that you actually believe that it happened because you feel separate. And that's because how do you know that you're in a dream? You only know it when you wake up from the dream. While you're in the dream, you're this character, and you certainly believe it's real. So that's more a helpful way to focus with the mind, is to say, I believe it happened. I believe in the separation based on my experience. But yes, as we come home in God, we will see that it never happened. We will see the dream as a dream. Awareness of dreaming is the function of God's teachers. This is an amazing truth. Awareness of dreaming is the function of God's teachers. And this can only be experienced through forgiveness, forgiving the dream.
His follow-up question was, so why does the mind now need a gradual learning and correction process over time?
Good question. It doesn't really. Actually, it can do it in an instant. And this is it, because the ego puts enlightenment in the future, and that's the biggest trick. So no, you don't need time. Actually, time has been saved for you. Jesus says you don't need this time. You can accept it now. And this is the difference between right mind and wrong mind. This is something I've used through the years in my mind training, looking, am I in the wrong mind or in the right mind? And that's very easy to know because you feel the way you feel. So to change your mind takes just one instant.
That sort of brings us back full circle, doesn't it?
I feel that, yeah.
We practice that holy instant.
Yeah.
Really, the ending of a course is, I know this has been said quite a few times. It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
You end the course, and now you practice extending that holy instant to everyone.
Yeah. And that beautiful devotional prayer, be you in charge, he says in this lesson. For I would follow you, certain that your direction gives me peace. That's full trust. This is what we need. We need to trust that much, that we're certain that the direction from higher wisdom gives us peace. That's how we need to become obedient to higher wisdom. That's our way out. And become trusting, to trust it. The whole course is like a course in learning to trust.
Vigilance is an important word. Mentioned vigilant is an important word. Mentioned
vigilance,
quite a few times.
Yeah.
Vigilant for the mind of God.
Yeah.
Am I choosing ego? Am I choosing the Holy Spirit?
Exactly. And that's all we need every moment. We can give our time over to that.
It's pretty simple, isn't it?
It is. It's pretty fun too.
You have time for a couple more questions?
Sure.
Kat says, question, do you believe when we return to our full awareness of being with God, will we even remember the dream?
No, the dream will fade away. First, we'll only believe or remember the joyful, the lightness, because we are forgiven the darkness. So we won't remember the darkness. We remember the love in the dream. And then it fades away and becomes only love. So, yeah.
It's sort of given away in the introduction, isn't it? That nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists.
Yeah.
So if nothing unreal exists, where would it reside when we're just love?
Exactly. It's nowhere. So he says, who can stand on a distant shore and dream himself to time and space that have long gone by, that are not here anymore? Who can do that? He says a madman's dreams are, whatever he says, describes the madness of believing you are actually in this world.
Our friend Adam says, does specialness hold us back from truth?
Yes, it does. The undoing of specialness is the forgiveness journey. But it's gentle, it's step by step, and you shouldn't avoid special relationships and think that you can come home to God. Actually, we need to go through them. We need to have permission in our minds to let Spirit use our special relationships to transform them.
I was just thinking about that today. I was actually just talking to Kat about that today. That we can, the importance of lesson 25. I don't know what anything is for. I don't know what this relationship is for. I don't know what my YouTube channel is for. I don't know what anything is for. But Holy Spirit knows what everything is for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And the more we practice that, we take away our own judgment, our own labeling on everything. And we can become quite oblivious to what the world is for. And then it can be shown to us, then the miracles can come in and show us actually the world is for you. It's for our highest good. The healed world, the healed perception is a very light
Even a special
experience.
relationship.
Well, it's only the love, the truth, and the holiness that makes the relationship real and meaningful. The specialness will get washed away if we're willing to offer the relationship over. Otherwise, we will actually just repeat the past. Like the shadows of the past is such a powerful section in the course where it talks about how we relive the past in seeming present relationships. We actually bring our own past and we have a relationship with our own past, not actually with who the other person is. And this is quite an interesting chapter to read and to start to question the shadows of the past and show up in the present with our, if it is a partner or some seeming special relationship, to practice being present and remove our perception, our preconceived ideas about the other. That's how we transform the relationship.
Do you find that maybe the most special of all relationships is the special image we form about ourselves? I'm thinking particularly that, well, two ways. We can make ourselves so special that we think we're beyond redemption. No one has sinned the way I've sinned. No one knows, what a horrible person I am. We've literally made ourselves special.
Yeah. It's an ugly form of specialness. It's sad when it's such an unforgiveness against ourselves. And ultimately, actually, all doubt is self-doubt, and the one we ultimately forgive is our own self we made so special. Yeah.
And then conversely, we can have a very spiritualized ego that look at me, look at like what I've done.
Yeah. Another trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which brings us back to that word vigilant. Be vigilant for every little. The ego is it's a trickster and is insidious. It'll keep showing up in these little, we like to think, well, I've gone through a year of A Course in Miracles. Let me dust my hands off and pat myself on the back.
Yeah. Some people say, I did the course 30 years ago once or something. People say, and I'm like, yeah, for me, it's more like, it's with me.
I was mentioning Dove Fishman and him, putting aside the course before of course, he didn't put aside. He just put aside doing the lessons, and now he's living it. He's, to fully 100% turning to the Holy Spirit. But he said before he did that, and he would lead classes for those who had been through the course book several times. And it almost like he was offering this to me to now step into those review lessons of 221 to 241, I believe, where it always begins with, I am not a body, I am free, for I'm still as God created me. And that would be enough. Just practicing those 20 review lessons while keeping in mind the end lesson, the introduction, and for him that the mantra of lesson 25. I don't know what anything is for. He believed that obviously you have to go through the workbook as many times as you feel called to go through. But then you might get a prompt, and those could be the lessons that you could work with.
Yeah, I mean, I think the curriculum is individualized. There's no formula. There's no, we can't say this is the way. So everyone has a different curriculum. I did hear about a woman who kept practicing, I'm not a body, I'm free. But she started hitting walls, going into walls because she, and her body got a bit bruised up. So that wasn't so helpful.
Interesting. Are you familiar with Tina Spalding?
I've heard her name, and yeah, I've heard of her. Yeah.
I saw a video clip of her. She had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening through a continuous practice of forgiveness. I actually wrote down her prayer that she would say whenever she had a particular relationship that she was stuck in, where these negative thoughts were all pervading. Every time she thought of her, it was just full of negativity, and she couldn't forgive. So every time this person came to mind, she would say, I hand the relationship over to the Holy Spirit so that we can both be free. And she just did it continuously. So even if it came up 5 minutes later, she would repeat that prayer. And it brought about that spontaneous Kundalini awakening.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
determination.
like you said, it's a highly individualized curriculum.
Yeah.
But we'll be told what to do, right?
Yeah. We are told what to do. We can trust. That's how we need to sink back and trust and wait for the guidance. Yeah. Be open to it.
So we have one. I'm going to ask you one last question from a friend, and then we'll wrap it up. Time has flowed by, and I love these conversations when time just cease to have any meaning other than the message itself.
Me too.
How did the idea of separation or ego originally come about?
Well, I can quote Jesus. So, into eternity, where all was one, there crept a tiny mad idea at which the Son of God remembered not to laugh. So, in this not remembering, this tiny mad idea seemed to become real and have real effects. So, yeah, so how this came about, it actually, you have to go back to your own mind and check your own doubt thoughts, where the tiny mad idea crept into your mind. Where did you stop trusting God? Where did you stop believing you won in oneness? And see, okay, I did. Somewhere, somehow I did fall from grace. I did drop away from God, from oneness. And that's the tiny mad idea. And the journey back is to remember to laugh, is to come back to the joy that is our natural state of mind. Joy is our inheritance, which, it can take quite some healing processes to come back to that. But yeah, so how it came about is the only way to find out is to look at your own mind and find out if you, because it didn't happen in history, like it didn't happen in the past. This is an illusion that somewhere in the past there was a big bang or a fall from grace or we fell from heaven. No, it's a state of mind. Like the kingdom of heaven is a state of mind, and the separation is a state of mind. It's a state of darkness. So we need to look at where it happened in our own mind and question it.
And I love the fact that the solution, the answer, is in, as you said, remembering to laugh, remembering to be joyful.
Yeah.
This is not a somber path, is it?
No, no, it's such a light path and it becomes lighter and lighter. I mean, my first years was pretty hard, but but it becomes lighter.
Um, let's see. Our friend Kat says, "Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you can come back again in the future. I hope you can come
I'd
back
love
in
to.
the future too."
I would love that.
Um,
Thank you.
and I just want to make sure we have not missed anyone. So, a question from a friend.
Yeah.
I wanted to let you go, but I missed it the first time they asked, and they're very scared of this. So maybe we can offer some reassurance. Um, he had a dream a couple weeks ago, and it came true. And now he's had a different dream, and I'm absolutely scared it may come true because it was a nightmare.
Okay. Well, it's already happened in the dream, so you don't have to be afraid it's gonna come true or manifest, but you can face your fear. You can allow that dream, to show you the fear of separation, and let spirit's light in on it. And that's all. Don't have to be afraid it's gonna manifest.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Um,
Yeah. I was laughing because I saw another question about if you can use the Bible as toilet paper.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
saw
I
that as
don't
well.
I don't believe anything is holy or sacred. So if that's what you need to do to to go through your process around Christianity, be my guest.
Um, it's funny, when I was, um, live streaming, and it was right towards the end of COVID, and people had mentioned running out of toilet paper. You worried about running out of toilet paper? They said, "Have you seen the books behind me?" I'm not worried about running out of anything. Um, but even the course says, in the end, uh, come with empty hands. We're not
Yeah.
bringing a book with us.
No. No. Forget this world, forget this course, and come with holy empty hands unto your God. Yeah. Just to come with an open heart and being shown, because all concepts need to fall. Concepts of God and spirit and the journey and awakening, everything.
It's
Yeah.
a beautiful way to end.
Yes. Oh,
Thank you so
thank you
much.
so much. Thank you for having me here. I loved it.
And I will send you the link to the live stream, and feel free. Uh, Anything that you want me to clip for you, I'm happy to do so.
Thank you.
And use it in any way that you think might be helpful.
Okay, thank you so much. I
You're
will.
welcome.
I
Thank
will
you.
share
Much
it.
love to you, my friend.
Oh, thank you. You too. Thank you, everyone.